sister-in-law, I waited for my husband. 31F here. The situation is actually funny to me, and I can't believe it's blew into an actual fight. I was raised in an ultra-Catholic family and went to Catholic school from preschool to high school. This is where I met my husband 33M and sister-in-law 31F. My husband, let's call him Peter, comes from a traditional Catholic family and is the oldest of 5 kids. I honestly never bought into the Catholic thing, but my husband was quite religious for most of high school. He broke away from it when he went to college, but started doing things that were against the Catholic rules, namely having sex with me when we were in high school. Sometimes our families judge us for our decisions, such as living together before marriage and not having a church wedding, but we're still close to everyone for the most part. I was actually very close with my sister-in-law, I'll call her Maddie, growing up. We played soccer and softball together and had a similar friend group. Maddie was always very religious in some ways, that is being an active part of the youth group, but also was kind of rebellious. She liked to go to parties and had sex with her high school boyfriend, but felt a bit conflicted about this. I always thought she'd grow out of the Catholic stuff when we left our hometown for college, but instead, she joined a Catholic student group there and leaned even more into her religious identity. She's now married to a religious guy who I'll call Thomas, and they very much live like the traditional Catholic couple. Maddie left work to be a full-time wife and mom, and already has 3 kids, 5M, 3, and 1F. It's a bit odd to me and my husband, because she seems completely different from the person we knew as kids. She used to be quite passionate and opinionated, and now she's demure and not really interested in anything outside of family and religion. It's honestly a bit sad to me because she was a great athlete, she played college soccer and wanted to be a doctor, but she seemed to lose the ambitious and spunky side of her after high school. Last night, there was a dinner at my in-laws' house. I was at a table with Maddie, Thomas, my husband, my mother-in-law, and my wife's aunt. Maddie's latest obsession is that our current culture doesn't value women for their roles as wives and mothers, and she thinks we're leading women down a path of unhappiness by encouraging them to sleep around. She's very involved with her church and is organizing a group of women to talk to the girls' group about the beauty of saving oneself for marriage. Some of the women in the group waited for marriage and others didn't, but they're all going to talk about why waiting for your husband is the right choice. As I mentioned, Maddie had sex with her high school boyfriend and started identifying as a born-again virgin once she started dating her husband. She always talks about how having sex in high school was the biggest mistake of her life, and that she wishes she could have experienced her first time on her wedding night. Everyone at the table was agreeing with Maddie about how damaging premarital sex is, except for me and my husband, and I literally couldn't make eye contact with him or I'd start laughing. At one point, my Mill asked what I thought of Maddie's idea, and I said it was great and that I should be invited to speak since I actually waited for my husband. Maddie asked what I was talking about, and I said I waited to have sex until I started dating Peter, who is now my husband. Peter then joked that it was a long 16 years of waiting, but God only gives us what we can handle. We were both cracking up, but everyone at the table looked annoyed. It was honestly meant to be a light-hearted, self-deprecating joke, but it wasn't received that way. Maddie said I didn't wait for my husband, and that I was making a mockery out of something very serious. I get really triggered by the hypocritical views of some, not all Catholics, and kind of snapped. I said it was hypocritical of her to call herself a born-again virgin, which is a made-up concept, but not let me say I waited for my husband. I asked what's the difference, since both of us had premarital sex. I also added that I respect her views, but personally don't think premarital sex is immoral. I also said if I had a daughter, I'd let her make the decision for herself. And I didn't want to hold her to a standard that I myself couldn't live up to. Maddie stormed out of the room, and her husband followed her. My Mill says we should apologize, but Peter said we're not apologizing for something so dumb. He agrees that it's hypocritical and unfair of her to judge others for something she herself did in the past. I tried to tell my husband that we could apologize to diffuse the situation, but he was pissed and said we were leaving. He also said I was the only one who actually waited for her husband, yet I'm the one getting the most judgment before we left. I now feel bad because I didn't mean to upset Maddie. But also, it feels unfair that she judges me for doing the exact same thing she did. AITAH, should I apologize?
This is Petty Honest signing off for now. Meow. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Don't forget to leave your honest thoughts in the comment section below. We love a good juicy thought.